The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. How is everybody? How are you? Now, some of you will have only heard me a couple of days ago. Those of you who are doing the Azon journey with us, some of you probably haven't heard from me for absolutely ages. So, how are you? Who have we got here? I've got no second names on this screen at the moment, so I'm just having a look. I've got Jem here, Veelmati, hello. I haven't spoken to you for ages. Agnes, Zika Lee, Heidi, Sue, Ramdi, Francisco, David, Kurt, Larry, Saida, David, Mike, Carl, Julian, David, Debbie. Oh my goodness. Sean, how are you doing, everybody? Roz, hello, Roz. How are you? Ozzy, lovely to see you here as well. Trudy, Gail, hello, thank you so much for coming. And you're just continuing to put your names down here. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Roz. And I do apologise up front for the late notice. I almost thought, shall I leave it until January now? Because I have left it late and people are gearing up for Christmas. And do they really want another webinar before Christmas? And I thought, no, I'm going to sneak it in there at the last minute and I will record it and I will send out a replay so that if people have a moment over Christmas where they've eaten too much or drunk too much and they're sitting down doing nothing, then they could have a little listen to this and hopefully it would inspire them into 2016. So, just a quick one. How many people on the call here right now? Just put a yes in the box. Oh, Alice, you made it. Well done. Just put a yes in the box if you have attended one of my lessons learnt webinars in the past. I just want to see how many people here have actually attended one of my lessons learnt before. So we've got yes, 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 yes. We do have some no's as well. We do have some first time today. That is Jupiter Jim. Thank you for joining us, Jupiter Jim. Agnes is a no. David is a no. Oh, we got all of them. Every single one, says Gail. Inspiring. We've got some first timers. Dirk says, no, I'm a virgin. Good to know that, Dirk. Don't worry, Gail, I knew what you meant. Gail's just having trouble with her spelling this morning. Good. Okay, wonderful. So we have a mix of those of you who've been with me before and a mix of people who this is completely your first time. So let me just very quickly introduce what's happening over the next probably about 60 minutes, probably about an hour and 10, hour and 15. It really depends on how excited I get. And I am pretty excited this year, I have to say. I am. It has been a bit of a stupendous year. So I am pretty excited, but I'll try not to waffle on too much. Basically, I am going to be running through the 15. Each year it gets bigger. By 2020, I'm going to be like, oh my God, 20 lessons. By 2050, I'll be like 50 lessons. Each year, I started this in 2012. And in 2012, I did the 12 lessons that I'd learnt through that year. And it was kind of, in 2012, if I remember rightly, going back now a number of years, it was a bit of a mix. It was lessons I'd learnt where I'd got things wrong, lessons I'd learnt where I'd got things right, and things I wanted to share. I did the same in 2013, and then last year, 2014, I really focused on really the things I'd got wrong that I wanted to change for 2015. That was okay, but it wasn't as fun as just balancing that between the things that went really well and things that went bad as well. So this year it's a mix again. Okay, so I'm going to go through sometimes the things that have worked really, really well for me and that I want to share with you, and some of the things that just didn't go so well and how I'm going to be changing those for next year. Some of them are kind of mindset-y stuff. Some of them are a little bit more technical. And each of them come with a little example and a story of how it has or hasn't worked for me this year. So are you ready? Have you got your notepads out? Have you got your minds open? Actually, forget the notepads. More importantly, is the minds open? Have you got open minds ready to soak in lots of really good gems of inspiring messages that hopefully will send you soaring into 2016 full of energy and ready to take on the world. Yeah? Everybody ready, 100%. Let me hear a yee-haw. Let me hear a yee-haw on this call here. I tell you what, next time I'm doing this in a hangout so you can actually see me. I'm definitely doing that. Just a quick slurp of tea there. Good. All right. Yee-haw. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, I am going to put my control panel down while I'm doing this, okay? Neil is with us. Hello, Neil. So if you have any issues with sound or anything like that, then do please just let Neil know, and he will pop on and interrupt me, and then I'll come and we'll do a few questions at the end. You can tell me a bit about what you're planning for next year, and, we can have a look at that, and we can do a few Q&As at the end. Alrighty, let's get cracking then, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get cracking. So I'm going to put my slide up here. Oh, that's one thing I haven't checked. Can everybody see my screen? Let me just double check that. Everybody see my screen okay? Yep, all good. And you can all hear me fine. Yep, voice is good, screen is good. We're all good. Fantastic. Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's just minimize that then and click play. Alrighty, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lessons Learnt in 2015, and thank you to the odd person for the English lesson about learnt, but I can assure you that in the UK, learnt can substitute learned, and does many times. It's not used so much in America, so that's probably why it may look a little strange to you if you're from the US, but I can assure you my spelling is all good. However, let's move on to the lessons that I have learnt this year. The first one, we're going to pick a bit of an obvious one. However, how often do any of us actually do this? And it's really, really very important because, over the next few weeks, you are going to get bombarded by people selling you or giving away goal setting plans. Yeah, even I've got some goal setting sheets that I think I'm going to put up over Christmas, and I'll send them out to you by email. But basically, you are going to get bombarded. It's coming up to January the 1st. It's goal setting time. This is the only slide I have tonight, I think, on goals. But you are going to be bombarded with goal setting stuff. And the challenge we have is that we set ourselves goals and then we forget about them. Yeah, we stick them in an Evernote doc, or we put them on a note, or we stick them at the beginning of a new notepad that's going to be our notepad for success that year. And then they sit in the front of that notepad and we never read them again. And the problem with that is that we've set those goals and then we just literally forget that they even exist. And the master, if you like, the absolute, highest guy in goal setting, Mr. Brian Tracy, he says you should write out your goals every single day. And if that works for you, then happy days, go and do that. Personally, this year in particular, I started simply to review mine every week. And I was able to look at my goals every week. And I have to be honest with you, I had a couple of major goals. And I haven't been able to hit all my goals this year, but the one I did hit was the one I was able to measure and review every week. Yeah. And that was the income goal. Yeah. Why? Because it's so tangible. I was able to say, right, this is how much we want to make each month. This is where we want to be in 3 months. This is where we want to be in 6 months. Very, very tangible, easy to measure, easy to review and see how far off the target that we are. But what's really important when you set your goals, no matter what they are, that you find a way to measure them. Find a tangible way to measure, am I getting closer to my goal? Yeah. And then every week, every month, you need to hold yourself accountable to actually sit down, look at your goals, review them, and decide whether you're getting closer to them. You may even find actually through the year that certain things change and you start heading in a slightly different direction. And therefore, what you need to do is you need to, at that point, just tweak your goals a little bit and change them. Just because you set them at the beginning of the year does not necessarily mean that they are absolutely set in stone. One of the key things about business is being able to be flexible and adaptable. So what you need to do, though, is you must, through the year, make sure that you're reviewing all the time what your key goals are and not just set and forget. Okay, very, very important. So make that number one. This year, I am going to review my goals as I go through the year. Now, excuse me. The thing with goal setting is it's important to be realistic. It's important to think big. Okay, it's important to think big with your goals. and have these kind of high ideas of where you want to be. But also, I think it's really important that we set ourselves up to win. Too many times we create these amazing goals that are so far. I mean, please don't get me wrong. I'm not asking you to stretch your mind. We're going to be definitely talking about stretching your mind tonight. But also, what I want you to do is put some measurements in there that mean that you're setting yourself up to win. Right? It's important that you expect more of yourself than others expect from you. It's important that you hold yourself to a higher standard. However, you also want to make it easy for yourself to be happy. You want to make it easy for yourself to feel like you're moving forward, that you're progressing. I don't know about you guys, but I always find that if I feel stagnated, if I feel I'm not moving or going anywhere, and, I just kind of feel in a rut, then it makes me very sad. It kind of leads to those negative emotions that none of us really want to feel. So you want to make sure that you are putting in, even if you have this kind of astronomical goal for the end of the year, you want to make sure you put in some nice stepping stones along the way that you can tick off as you go and say, yes, I got there. And then, yes, I did that. And then, yes, I did that. Because what that's doing is it's setting yourself up to win. It's making it easier for you to create momentum and keep moving forward in your life and in your business. And just on that as well, not just business, because that's important with the Lessons Learned webinars. They are mainly about business, but it's also about personal life as well. The other thing as well, this is my Tony Robbins moment, is, when you think about your life, and I just said you want to make it easy for yourself to be happy, that's really important point. Sometimes we put ourselves under so much pressure. I mean, we are our own worst enemies, really. We are the ones that hold ourselves to such a high standard sometimes. And you should hold yourself to a high standard, but you need to make sure that, for instance, one of mine now is that, just waking up in the sun. Yeah, because it's sunny here all the time, so it's hard not to wake up in the sun. And I'm happy. That's it. That's number one goal for the day. Did I wake up? Am I breathing? And is the sun shining? Do you see what I mean? So, sometimes you need to actually set some rules in your life that make it really easy for you to be happy and to achieve wins. Saying that, though, you still need to, and this is a common one of mine, I've said this every single year, right? And I'm going to give you some examples of how I've done it big style this year, and it has been a really big year for this. Moving out of your comfort zone. Now, I've said this before, and I've said it kind of, there have been things over the years where I've definitely moved out of my comfort zone. Getting on and making videos, it's a moving out of the comfort zone. But for somebody like me, who's a little bit of an exhibitionist anyway, it's not that far out of my comfort zone. Building funnels, building lists, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's moving out of my comfort zone. But again, for somebody like me, who, is fairly sort of technically savvy, etc., it's not that far. But this year I have moved seriously out of my comfort zone, and you will never move forward unless you are willing to stretch yourself. My advice to you is that you give yourself the opportunity to move out of your comfort zone at least once a week if you can. And I mean in anything, try anything new. Even if it's cooking a brand new dish, or I don't know, something that you haven't done before that's going to just make you feel a little bit anxious, a little bit uncomfortable as you move out of your comfort zone. And if you're taking a big leap and you're feeling a bit of self-doubt, you're feeling scared, all of that kind of stuff, sometimes that's actually a really good thing, as it means you are moving beyond your comfort zone. Okay, so for example, let me tell you, I'm going to give you 2 examples of me moving out my comfort zone, one of which I've done, one of which I've yet to do. Okay, first of all, our Amazon courses this year. As many of you will know, some of you may not, we started messing around with Amazon at the very end of 2014. And then through this year, this has been a very mammoth business for us for our Amazon business, which is basically selling physical products on Amazon.com in the US. And it's been absolutely huge. And the actual doing of the Amazon business itself, that's not been too bad. But I've done some training courses through the year. And I really had to move out of my comfort zone with those. And one of the reasons is because we were fairly new to the business. And I was very honest when I was selling the courses. And I was, very upfront and said to people, look, this is come along and follow our journey, all of that kind of stuff. But we decided to take a slightly different tact. We decided to be very transparent with our products, blah, 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 blah. And I just found myself literally moving out of my comfort zone constantly all year with these training courses, going up against other training courses that were bigger and, more well funded, blah, 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 literally all year. And then each launch, every time we launched, it got bigger. Every time we launched, we had more people. Every time we launched. And I just I found myself on a knife's edge almost pretty much all of this year. But we went ahead and it was great. And we've helped change many people's lives now who, have given up jobs and are making money and, all the rest of it. So it's been absolutely worth every second, but it's been a massive, and there were times when I didn't want to do it. There were times when I said, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. Luckily enough, I have a very supportive partner. That's what we're going on to in the next slide. But there were times when I was like, nah, I just can't do it. I don't want to do it. I want to shrink into my little box. Wouldn't it just be better if I just don't do anything? Ever felt that? Where sometimes you're standing in front of a challenge and you think, I need to do this. And then you think, I just don't want to do it. I just want to crawl back underneath my duvet. So, that self-doubt and that fear and all the rest of it, sometimes that is actually a sign that you are moving beyond your comfort zone. Hence, my next project for next year, my big project with Joe Barnes Online. Obviously, we are focusing fully on getting our Amazon business really moving forward, but also with Joe Barnes Online. Next year, I just want to massively grow my profile and my following on Joe Barnes Online. I'm about to do some Make It Happen Monday videos and things like that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm nervous. I'm nervous because it's been a while since I've done, on-camera videos. And, all those little self-doubts pop into your mind. Are my messages going to be good enough? Are people going to want to hear them? Are they, are they really going to listen? What if people can't stand them? Blah, 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 blah. All those nit in your head. And I'm going to start to move out of my comfort. In fact, I'm moving out of my comfort zone so much. I've been procrastinating. I've been meaning to start making them for the last few weeks. I haven't got round to it. I keep procrastinating. There's a million reasons why I shouldn't make them. The sun isn't in the right angle, or I can't, I need a new phone, or I need a new camera, I need a new microphone, or the tripod isn't in the right place. I mean, you know what it's like when you start procrastinating. There's a million reasons why you're not going to do what it is you should do, but you have to push forward. You have to push forward. In last year's presentation, I told you everybody about a book. I'll quickly mention it again. It's called Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. A great book. Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Because what you need to do when you are moving out of your comfort zone and you are feeling all those fears and self-doubts is you need to do a little mini risk assessment, i.e., what's the worst that can happen if you do it? Yeah, we're not talking unless there are any rocket scientists or brain surgeons on this call right now. And if there are, I bow down to you. But unless you are, then really, nothing is life or death. So you just do a mini risk assessment and ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen with my Make It Happen Monday video series? What's the worst? Nobody watches it. Ah, well, what's the worst? Somebody emails me and says, Joe, it's rubbish. Whatever, you move on. That's nothing terrible, is it? So there you go. So what's the worst that can happen? But most importantly, this is really important. You need to surround yourself not just with positive people, but people who stretch you and inspire you. Yeah, you want to make sure that you're mixing and talking to people who make you happy, people who are going to build you up, people who are going to say, yeah, come on, you can do it. You can do it. You are the kind of person that can go and do this. All right. And it always helps if you mix with people who are going to move you a little bit beyond your comfort zone. Yeah, maybe people who are just at that next level up, who are already doing what you want to do. Yeah, and they're just going to kind of pull you along a bit, show you it can be done, make you feel good about yourself, and tell you, yes, you can do it. Now, I know that sometimes I've had emails from people saying, Joe, how do I surround myself with positive people? I live out in this village in the middle of nowhere. I've got a family surrounding me that just don't believe in what I'm doing at all. And I'm just lost. I really don't know where to go. So sometimes it is hard to actually physically network. However, if you can do that, then I highly recommend it. And I shall just tell you about something that happened to me this year with that. But excuse me. But if you do find it hard to physically network in your area, then get online. There are Facebook groups, there are Google Plus communities, there are LinkedIn groups. I mean, there are communities and groups everywhere online full of people who want to improve their lives, improve their businesses. So, get in there, make it an absolute must that you are going to get onto groups and forums. Forums are still alive and well in the various niches and industries you want to be in. Small business forums, if that's where you want to go with this, are out there. Just make it a must that every day you're just going to spend an hour in a group chatting with other people. And I tell you what, something else, again, I've said before, I'm sorry for those of you who've been on previous webinars and I'm repeating myself, but sometimes there are lessons out there that are too good to ignore. And an event I went to many, many years ago, Keith Cunningham, who is just an amazing teacher of people and is the inspiration behind Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's the rich dad, by the way. He always says one of the best ways to learn is to teach. So when you get into these groups and you're talking to people, one of the best ways that you'll find you'll start to get support and encouragement is by giving support and encouragement. So if you go into a group and you see other people struggling, other people feeling like you do, even if you're thinking, yeah, I feel exactly the same, get onto that thread and say, hey, guess what? You're not alone. I feel the same, but here's a great way that we can burst through this. Here's a great way that we can move forward together. And the more you do that, then the more you'll find that you have other people that come back and encourage you. Another thing I would urge you to do, if you are in the unfortunate position that you have family members who don't support your dream. Now, you may have tried this, and please forgive me if you've tried this and it hasn't worked, but just in case you haven't tried this, I urge you to sit down with them and look them in the eye and tell them how important this really is to you and how important they really are to you, and therefore how important it is that they support you with this. You need to really appeal to that side of them without anger, without, arguments and all the rest of it. Sit down, have that family meeting where you say, look, guys, I love you more than anything in the world, but I also love me and I want me to be happy. And the happier I am, the happier you're going to be. So please, I beg you, even if you don't understand what I'm doing right now, I ask you for your support. I ask you for your full support and help with this, and because it's something I really, really want. And if you love me, then you're going to love the things that I do. So I urge you to have that conversation with your family and your friends if for any reason they're not supporting your goals and dreams. I'm very lucky. I have my partner, Rhett, many of you know, and obviously he is an entrepreneur like me. He has even bigger goals and dreams than me, to be honest with you. So, we're very lucky with each other. I also have a wonderful sister who's incredibly upbeat, very, very positive about life. And if there's any time I feel self-doubt, all I need to do is get on the phone with her and she gives me a huge sort of pep talk. The other thing that actually had a very big effect on me this year was an event in London. It's been many years since I've been to a physical networking event, mainly because we live over in Thailand or in Phuket. And I say that as an excuse, but there are many events in Bangkok, in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, etc., and I don't go. And that's one of my goals next year, to actually get out and go to all those events, because I went to an event in London for the weekend and it was incredible. Just being in a room full of people that were on high energy. They wanted to build their businesses, they wanted to do better. Every conversation you passed in the hallway was about new ideas, and all the things that they wanted to do and how they were going to do it. And it was just absolutely amazing. I came away from that weekend on cloud nine. Not only that, it's amazing how many people you meet online, just in your everyday business. And then you suddenly meet them at an event and they're like your best mates. So it's absolutely wonderful. So if you can, next year, just make it a goal to at least get to one solid networking event somewhere near you. Yeah, one physical networking event. But if all else fails, then just make sure that you're online and you're surrounding yourself with many positive people online around you. Something else that has really worked for me this year, I mean, seriously, just taken me to another level. I don't mind telling you, and I'm going to move to another slide in a second. You should all be seeing the football, the female football team at the moment. I don't mind telling you, right, that I got myself into a little bit of a rut, or a little bit of a funk, as we call it sometimes. I don't know who calls it that actually, but anyway, I call it that. A little bit of a funk, where I just felt I didn't quite have the brand of JBO. For those of you who've been with me for many years, you'll know that kind of at the beginning of last year, I had the online marketing addicts. That wasn't really working for me. I didn't really know where I wanted to take Joe Barnes online. I didn't really want to launch any new training courses other than the Amazon stuff I was doing. I felt like I'd kind of, done as much Facebook as I could and stuff like that. I just really kind of felt I was coming to the end of the line. And then this year's obviously been an amazing year for us business-wise. But as I kind of came into this year, at the first half of this year, I'd say January through to about the beginning of summer, I was in a very kind of, I don't know what I want to do. I don't feel like I've got any real sort of purpose. I'm a bit lost. And what I started to do was I started to feed my mind every single day. I started to listen to Big T again, my big Tony Robbins. I started to listen to inspirational podcasts, other business owners who were talking about their businesses and their ideas and what they were doing. I started watching videos, inspirational video. I mean, there's nothing better than film, movies, clips from movies, inspirational clips from movies. Just the other day, somebody posted in one of our groups, I think, Neil, you're on the call, a Sylvester Stallone video, and it's got this quote from, I think it was Rocky 4, I think it was Rocky 4, and he's talking to his son, and he's saying to his son, you're blaming everybody else but you for your results. But you're the only one who's in control of your life. You're the only one who can choose the results that you are going to get in your life. And life will hit you hard. It's going to beat you down harder than anybody else can hit you. But it's not how hard life can hit you. It's how hard it hits you, and you keep moving forward. And you keep moving forward. And then bearing in mind, I'm about to start making my video series, and I'm having my little self-doubts, my little moments of, do I really, is it going to be good? That kind of self-belief issue that we all have. And do you know what he says to him? This little sentence. He says, if you don't have self-belief, you don't have a life. And I thought, oh my hallelujah, I need to put that on a big poster in front of me and say, if you don't have self-belief, you don't have a life. So it's these little things that just feed your mind every single day. That mixed with being in some forums and groups of getting around people that inspire you. Oh my goodness. The thing is, you have to remember that your mind, you've got to treat your mind like you would a muscle. Yeah, not just like it's going to wake up and it's going to be on your side every day, because it's not. Your brain inevitably isn't going to be on your side. Your brain is going to keep telling you why you can't do it. Your brain is going to keep telling you all the reasons why you shouldn't, or you can't, or you're not, or it's too hard, or it's too tough. Yeah, that's how we've trained our brains. That's how the average person in life has trained its brain, full of self-doubt, full of limiting beliefs. So you have to train your mind to give you the answers to the better questions that you're going to ask it. You have to train your mind so that it's on your side, so that it's a really strong muscle that supports your goals, supports your dreams, and moves you forward. So, for instance, one of the exercises that Tony Robbins sets is morning questions, morning empowering questions. You wake up every morning and you ask yourself 4 or 5 empowering questions. Yeah. Some of mine were things like, what am I really happy about right now? What am I really grateful for in life? Blah blah blah, stuff like that. But I've changed them for next year, and knowing what my goals are for next year, my empowering questions are things like, what can I do today to ensure I have maximum energy, not just today but also tomorrow? And that's a question that I need to ask myself in the morning so that when I wake up, I can think to myself, what do I need to do? What do I need to do today to ensure I've got absolute maximum energy, not just today, but tomorrow as well? So that means I've got to eat really well. I've got to go and do some exercise. I've got to feed my mind. I've got to get around some people that are going to make me feel great. I've got to run down the beach, whatever it is. But what do I need to do today to get that? So that's an empowering question that I'm asking myself to give me a really empowering answer. And you need to train your mind, okay? So set yourself a bit of a goal that every single day you are going to ask yourself some empowering questions, that you are going to read some inspiring books, listen to an inspiring podcast, watch an inspiring video, however you consume information the best. Decide right now that, yes, I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to do that every day because I want to be the best I can be every single day. Now, your mind, I'm just looking at my notes, your mind is going to act the way you've trained it to, which is why you must change your training based on, and this is a big one. I'm going to have to thank Gary Vaynerchuk for this one for this year, because I started watching some of his videos when I was kind of assessing what I wanted to do with Joe Bonds Online. And wowee, what this guy talks about, self-awareness, knowing you, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, accepting your weaknesses, and not spending too much time over there. A lot of the times I think we kind of think, I need to improve that area, so I'm going to spend all my time where I'm the weakest. But really, you need to know your strengths. What are you good at? What are you good at? What can you exploit? How can you be better at what you're already great at? Yeah. And then outsource your weaknesses. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some things that we all need to self-improve. Okay. I'm not saying that that's not the case here. However, if there are specific things that you really aren't good at, don't like doing, etc., don't just do them because you think you should. Try and find a way around that. And also, I think one of the big things with this is you need to accept that maybe the choices that you're making aren't right for you. Maybe you're not that person. Yeah, you don't need to do stuff just because you think it's the right thing to do. For instance, one of the things I've been teaching over the years is how to build an online lifestyle business via becoming an online authority. And you know what? Maybe you're just not that person. Maybe you're not a person who wants to make videos. Maybe you're not a person who wants to talk on podcasts, Maybe you just don't want to be a public figure. Well, then that's not the model for you. Don't keep trying to go down that road if actually that just doesn't suit you. If you're somebody who's really, really shy and doesn't like getting out in the public, then you need to find another road. Maybe you become an authority blog because you enjoy writing and nobody ever has to see your face. But the trouble is many times I think we get out there and we do things because we think it's the right thing or it's the done thing. But actually, if it really doesn't suit our personalities, then all it's going to do is it's going to lead us to being actually very unhappy. I went through a phase where I thought I hated selling. I don't like getting onto webinars. I don't like selling. I can't do the sales pitches, blah, 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 all the rest of it. And yet, when I was younger, people used to say to me, gosh, Joe, you could sell ice to Eskimos. It led me to start thinking this year, well, what is it about selling that I don't like? And you know what? It's not that I don't like selling. It's that I haven't really enjoyed what I have been selling. Yeah. So, for instance, the training courses and the education system, don't get me wrong, I love teaching. But I don't want to sell courses. I just don't want to do it. I don't know why. It's been years now I've been doing them, but it's not been making me happy. And my long-term goals in life, I won't go into too many details on this webinar right now, but my long-term goals in the next couple of years is I actually want to set up and create my own charity. right? And years ago, I used to run a youth project for children many years ago in my 20s. And I had to sell all the time because I was trying to raise money for this youth project. And I loved it. I mean, I sold every single day trying to beg, borrow, and steal stuff for this, youth project. And I used to organise events and things like that and do auctions. And I had to beg and borrow and steal things to go and sell at these auctions and things. And I absolutely loved it. And so I'm looking ahead at, the charity and the amount of selling I'm going to have to do in order to raise funds. And I get really excited when I think about it. So all of a sudden, by looking deep within myself, I've realised it's not the fact that you don't like selling, Joe. It's that you don't like what you are selling. Do you know what I mean? Which is why I'm changing my model next year. Joe Barnes Online, there's going to be a lot. It's going to all my information, the videos I do, the blog posts, all the rest of it. That's all stuff that I'm just going to be giving away. I'll be doing little videos here, videos there, webinars on this, webinars on that. That's just stuff I'll invite people to. Nothing to sell. I want to, if I'm going to sell anything next year, it's going to be tangible stuff. Yeah, things like software. We'll go on to this in a minute. I'm going to be talking about something else that's very, very important. I want you to be aware of, but things that people can really kind of go and use straight away. Anyway, I'm going on to another subject, but the simple fact is you need to know who you are. What do you enjoy? What don't you enjoy? Become incredibly self-aware about your strengths and weaknesses and accept those, and then start to plan your life and business around those. Okay? But even if you struggle with this, even if you struggle a little bit with understanding exactly who you are, something else that's becoming very, very prevalent with me, because I'm a thinker. I don't know about you. Are you a thinker? Are you somebody who tends to think and think and think and overthink and think again? And maybe you're just going to have a little think again about that, just in case. But have I thought about it all? I'm a big thinker. When actually what we need to do is be unequivocally, Rep was saying to me last night, I dare you to say that at 6 o'clock in the morning, be unequivocally, and I said it perfectly, single-minded. What does that mean? What does unequivocally single-minded mean? It means that we get on if we set ourselves a goal that we really want to achieve, and that's our goal, we really need to stop thinking about it and just do it. I mean, that's one of my mantras on the bottom of all of my pictures. Stop thinking, start doing. And yeah, I'm the world's biggest bloody thinker. Sometimes, though, we just need to stop all the voices in our head and we need to just do it. We need to just set the goals and then be absolutely and unequivocally, I'm going to keep saying that's the word for the day. Yeah, it's not humdinger today. It's unequivocally single-minded in achieving those goals. Every time you catch yourself thinking, stop and just do. So for my example, right now, for instance, with my goals next year with JBO, my Make It Happen Monday vids, my blog posts, I've decided that's it. I'm not going to think about them anymore. Because I keep, should I do that? And, blah, blah. I've decided that's it. Any time now I think about it, it's gone. I'm moving it out of my mind. I am not thinking about it anymore. I'm just going to do it. It was like the video I sent out to invite you to the webinar. Yeah, so I'm out on a kayak in the Andaman Sea, right? I have no makeup on. I'm sweating because it's hot. And I thought, I'm just going to try this. I'm just going to have a bit of a laugh and I'm going to try it. And out came that little video. And I looked and I thought, I can't send that out. I cannot possibly send that video out. I look an absolute fright. And I thought, you know what? Stop thinking about it. It's fun. You're on a kayak. How many people make videos on a kayak in the Andaman Sea? Just get it out there. Who really cares whether you have or haven't got makeup on? I mean, yeah, okay, some people are going to look and go, oh my God, she doesn't look very professional, or she doesn't look very good, but you know what? Who really cares? Yeah, it was fun. And so I just thought, stop thinking about it, Joe. Just do it. Just get it out there. You have a mission in growing Joe Barnes Online next year. You have a mission to grow yourself this really lovely big community of people that really enjoy your information, get a lot from what you're giving them. That's your goal. So be you. What was I saying about be self-aware? Just be you. Show them who you are. Don't try and hide behind a hairdryer and some mascara. Show them who you are. Be you. Get a video out there. Make it happen. That's it. So when you set your goals next year, and I know I said earlier that sometimes your goals might change, and that's true, and you may have to just go back and tweak and all the rest of it. And there's a time for thinking. Your time for thinking is every week when you sit down and you review your goals and you say to yourself, right, have I got closer? If I haven't, why not? What do I need to do this week to make sure I do? Am I still on the right path? Is this still going in the right direction? So there's a time for thinking. You almost need to put thinking in your diary. Do you know what I mean? But other than that time when you think and you put it in your diary, you need to just be doing. Okay, and let me tell you something else that single-mindedness gives you. It gives you relief. You actually get relief from thinking. You've decided you're going to do it. You sit down and you do it, and you actually start to think, oh, God, that's nice. I don't have to think about this anymore. I'm just going to do it now. And you'll find you actually get relief from stopping thinking. Okay? And I don't know about you guys as well, okay, that those of you who are on the call who are sort of in your 40s and above, but don't you find that confidence should grow as we get older? And unfortunately, confidence seems to diminish as we get older. I don't know why it is, but I look back to my 20s and think of the absolute lack of fear I had in my 20s compared to now. And even though I know more and I'm wiser and all that kind of stuff, I still tend to worry too much about what other people think. Yeah? And we need to just stop doing that. I mean, seriously, how much time do we actually stop ourselves doing stuff for fear of being judged or failure or whatever? Yeah, how many times do we actually just stop and think, God, I'm going to look a right idiot if I do that? Or what's somebody going to say, or what are people going to say, or is somebody going to see that, or are my family and friends going to see that? I mean, how often do we stop ourselves doing stuff because we're worried about how other people are going to take it, how other people are going to think about it? But the thing is to truly move forward and achieve what we want to, we've got to stop worrying about it. We've got to stop worrying about it. Firstly, nobody else really cares because they're all too worried about what other people think about them. Yeah? So, yes, you're going to get judged. Yes, people are going to say things. Yes, you're going to get comments. Yes, you might get trolls. Yes, you might get all sorts happening. But every single person's reaction to something you do is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. You want to remember that. Every single reaction you get from somebody to something you do is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. Because we are innately selfish individuals and we are way too worried about ourselves. We're way too worried about how we look, or we're way too worried about how we feel, or we're way too worried about how we come across, or we're way too worried about our business. Do you know what I mean? It's innately, it's all about us. Secondly, there's a great saying out there: those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. It's true. Those who mind just don't matter, but those who matter don't mind. Now, I am a worrier. I do worry about what other people think. I wish I didn't. Ever since I was young, my mum and dad used to say to me, Joe, you need to develop a much thicker skin. You're too sensitive. You worry too much about other people. And I have decided that 2016 is my year for saying, screw it. I don't care what other people think. I am just going to go out and I'm going to be me, entirely me, and I'm going to do it. And sometimes I'm going to look like an idiot, because sometimes I do, because that is my personality. Sometimes I'm going to come across as really, really professional and it's going to be amazing. But whatever, I am just going to absolutely be me. I'm going to go out there and people are going to love me, or they're, not. Either way, it really isn't important, because what is important is what I want to achieve next year, my goals, my community that I want to build, moving into building my charity further on down the line. Which takes us to realizing what's important and what's not. Now, this is a key one. What is really important to you? You are going to hear so much info online about who you should be, what you should be, what makes a successful person, what makes a great entrepreneur. Oh my God, I got so incensed last year reading a magazine article, I think it was on Forbes, by some guy that gave the main attributes of being an entrepreneur. You could probably Google it and find it, the 12 key attributes of being an entrepreneur or something it was called. I can't remember. And he went through all these things. To be an entrepreneur, you must be willing to sacrifice your time with your family and friends. You must be willing to work 26 hours a day. You must have studied and mastered your whatever and so many hours, blah, blah, blah. You must be this person. You must be this. You must be that. I got so incensed reading it. I thought, who says? Who in the world actually defined the word entrepreneur and said you must be all these things? Because there may be some similarities in some of the more successful entrepreneurs, but the minute you step out and start your own business, in my book, you're an entrepreneur. I can't stand labels because people put people in boxes with them. The simple fact is you need to know what's important to you. And I want to go back to Gary Vaynerchuk as a great example of this, because I've been watching his videos and looking at stuff he's been doing for the last couple of months, just with a view to, where do I want to take Joe Barnes Online next year? And I was looking at all his stuff and I was thinking, I want to make some videos, and I want to write a book, and I want to do some blog posts, and and I was just thinking about all the different things I wanted to do. And I looked at, obviously, where he's got, obviously he's got all these books, he's got these podcasts, he's now a major international speaker, he's an angel investor, he does all this stuff, and he works 19 hours a day, Monday to Friday, spends the weekend with his family, but he works 19 hours a day, Monday to Friday, and has done for years. His whole ethos in life is, I'm where I am because I outwork everybody else. It's an honorable ethos, and it's probably very true. The harder you work, the more luck you're going to have. But I looked at that and I thought, you know what? I don't want everything he's got. I'll be happy if I build half the community he has, or whatever, because I don't want to work 19 hours a day. I had to sit there and be really true and realistic with myself. I've got my 9-year-old daughter. I've got my lovely partner. We live in Phuket, Thailand. We like going to the beach. I enjoy going to kayaking. Next year, one of my massive goals, my biggest goal actually, is physical health. So I want to be spending lots of time working on myself. And I don't want to work 19 hours a day. I have no interest. I'm past it. I'm 43 years old now, and I do not want to spend the next 40 years working 19 hours a day. So you have to look at what you want, know that, it's what you put in that you're going to get out. So you have to be happy with the results you're going to get, with the effort that you're going to put in to get them. You can't turn and say, well, I'm only going to do 3 hours a day, but I want to be the, Gary Vaynerchuk of whatever. If you're going to go and use a role model and have what they have, then you're probably going to have to do what they do. So, I need to be happy with the results I'm going to get from the effort I'm going to put into it. But I want to know what's important to me. And spending time with my family is actually more important to me than becoming an international speaker on the stage. So it's really important as you move forward in your life that you understand and know what's important, and understand that there is no right or wrong. It's just different. It's different stages in your life. If you're listening to this webinar now and you're in your 20s, you might be thinking, no way, man, I'll do 24 hours a day. I don't care. I just, want to be the next Richard Branson. If you're listening to this webinar and you're maybe in your 60s, you might be thinking, you know what, I don't care about being Richard Branson anymore. I just want really good quality of life. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get decent quality of life. There's no right or wrong. It just depends on where you are in your life and the goals you have and what you want out of life. But this is a biggie to help you work less hours and achieve more. And this is probably one of the biggest lessons that I have learned this year through being on Amazon. And this is point number 10, by the way. There's no numbers with these, but this is point number 10, lesson number 10. You need to leverage what's already out there. This has been a massive leap for me, because I'm afraid I have always been one of these people that tends to want to create things from scratch myself. It's that whole kind of my bonfire, that whole kind of control freaky type thing. I never knew. See, that self-awareness is popping in there again. Who knew I was a bit of a control freak? But clearly I have been. But one of the biggest lessons I've learned this year is the reason that Amazon is such a good business model is that they've already done what I've been teaching people to do for the last 5 years. If you think about my education programs and what I've been teaching people, go and build yourself a website. Go and list build. Build yourself a list of potential buyers. Go and build yourself authority and trust. Get out there and gain that trust with the community, and then add in some products and funnels and all the rest of it so people can come and buy. Then you're going to go and you're going to get the traffic to come to your website so people can buy your stuff. You're going to do remarketing, retargeting, Facebook ads, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to build this authority website based on trust with loads and loads of stuff happening, and people are going to come and buy your stuff. What is Amazon if it is not an authority website? I mean, where do people go to shop? That trust factor is there. What kind of list do you think they have? They have millions of people. Not only is it a list, it's not just a freebie list of people who've opted in, by the way. It's people who've given them their credit card. So it's a buyer's list. So you've got a massively authority site that's got a PR ranking of 1. Not that I think PR ranking even stands anymore, but would have a PR ranking of 1. It's one of the top searched websites online. The trust is there. Amazon, everybody trusts it. It's got a massive, as in millions, of buyers with their credit cards already on the site, and it's got hundreds of products to buy. So basically, it's done everything that I teach people to do when they want to build their authority online business. It's already done it. So all you have to do now is take your product and you have to just get it in front of the audience. So you've taken a massive chunk of the work that they've already done for you, and you now just have to take a product and get it in front of that audience. And if that's not good enough, they even deal with all the packaging, the sending, the returns, the customer service, everything on the site as well with your product. So you literally only have this job of getting your product and getting it in front of the audience. Massive, massive leverage. So how do we do this in a normal kind of online business? If you want to get out there, you want to start creating partnerships. You want to be looking for opportunities. Stop being an island. Stop trying to do it on your own. I'm going to give you an example of where I screwed up big style, okay? Well, I didn't. I learned a lot. But, the difference between people who leverage and people who try and create things from scratch. In 2011, Facebook was really coming into its own, and Facebook fan pages were big, big, big business. I'd started in 2010. I'd built my list very, very quickly based on the back of Facebook fan pages. I had this little piece of software that I'd built in America, and I could see that Facebook fan pages were going big. So I decided I was going to build better lead pages. But I didn't have much resource at the time. I didn't have much money. I didn't know any developers, blah, blah, blah. But I still decided I was going to start from scratch and build my own fan pages. At the same time as this was happening, there was a very clever young man who decided he was going to go and white label a set of fan pages that had already been created by a much bigger software company, who was selling their own. And he went and he white labeled those, and it was Page Modo, and the guy that did it was Brian Moran. I'm sure you've all heard of him from Get 10,000 Fans. And he white labeled software that had already been built. It was already there. These guys were going to continue investing money into it. They were going to improve it. They would do the customer service for it. They would do all that. All he had to do was actually buy the license, brand it himself, and then sell it. So he leveraged what was already there. I remember 6 months down the line, after I'd had my head underneath this software thing, Neil will remember, literally head in hands, it's not working. We've put thousands into this. The bloody thing's so buggy, dealing with customer service issues, not focusing on selling it because I'm too embroiled underneath it. It's right over me, and I'm dealing with software all the time, swearing I'll never deal with software ever again. So I'm caught up, and while I'm all caught up in that, this clever young man who's half my age is out there just making millions selling it because he doesn't have to worry about the software because he's leveraged what's already out there. I remember sitting there looking at him thinking, well, Joe, there's a lesson there. There's some respect, major respect is due, and a big old lesson. And I still didn't really learn at that time, to be honest with you. I carried on doing my courses and training courses and stuff like that. And it was really Amazon that rammed it home to me that you need to leverage. So, how do you leverage? Well, you either go and do an Amazon business. Affiliate marketing is a way of leveraging. You still have to build your own authority, though, when affiliate marketing. You do have to do that, and that's fine. I love authority marketing, but you can sell other people's products. Social media is a great way of leveraging. Facebook, massive site. Twitter, massive site. Instagram, massive site. You know, all these sites that people go, oh, well, I'm not really a big user. You should be on those social media sites because they are massive leverage to get in front of your audience. That's how you should see them. They are leverage sites. They've already done your work for you. They are already trusted online communities and publishing platforms for you to be able to get a presence. Yeah, and white labeling products. So going out there and finding products that already exist that you can then white label, as opposed to creating your products from scratch. It's just a case of thinking out of the box a bit, okay? So you need to start thinking, how can I leverage what's already out there rather than have to completely start from scratch all on my own? And when you think about leverage, you just want to be thinking partnerships. Who or what do I need to partner with in order to leverage what is already out there? Big lesson, something you'll see with me doing next year with Joe Bonds Online. I probably will not create very much this year for sale. I'll be creating lots of free stuff, but if I sell anything, it will be very unlikely it's mine. I've got some of my products that will be on my blog. So when people come to my blog, there's still my OMA there. There's still my 30-day list building challenge. There's, a couple of my products that I've made and it's on there. But, anything that I go out and actually promote or sell this year, which won't be very much, to be honest with you, but anything I do probably won't be mine. It'll either be an affiliate deal or it will be something I've white labeled, but it's something I've leveraged from somewhere else. Somebody else has done the hard work for me. That's the key. All right, so lesson 11. Again, I have actually used this one before, but it is so incredibly true. In fact, I've used this one since I started online back in 2010. I made a video called CFA, the importance of CFA, the importance of consistent, focused action. And listen, I'll give you a little surprising stat, okay? In the last 30 days, yeah, on Amazon.com, we have generated just over $275,000 in sales in the last 30 days. Yeah, now that is pretty damn amazing. Yeah, we're going to do $1 million worth of sales within a year. And the main reason is this. This is the main reason. Yeah, people ask me all the time, how do you make those many sales? Why is it that you're making those many sales? How do you do that? And it's because we get on there every single day. And I mean every day. 7 days a week. I don't think there is one single day this year we have not gone there and just done something. We might have only been on there an hour and tweaked something, or promoted something, or done something with reviewers, or whatever, changed something, tweaked, but we have consistently helped move our product up the Amazon rankings every single day, 7 days a week. So consistency is so incredibly powerful in all businesses. Consistency equals results. I'm not entirely sure that there's actually anything more powerful than consistency. Examples in the IM world. You've got, I don't know if you guys know, I can't remember their company name now, but Jay Boyer, he used to work with a guy called John, who's now gone off to work with Rapid Crush. But Jay, every single weekend holds a webinar. I mean, it's like clockwork. Every single weekend, there's a webinar coming out. It is so consistent. I have no doubt that guy is bringing home the big bucks because it's so consistent all the time. Ryan Dice, he has consistently been out there with his digital marketer for about the last 10 years. Just unbelievable consistency. Mari Smith, Marie Forleo, Gary Vaynerchuk, these guys, they're constant. I use these guys because they're the people that I see all the time. It's absolute consistency all the time. The videos come out every week without fail on the same day. The blog posts come out every few days. That Quick Sprout, Neil Patel, every few days a blog post come out. Consistency. People get to completely rely on the fact that this information is going to be distributed and published. They know it's coming. They start looking for it. There's that familiarity. It's just absolute consistency is so incredibly powerful. Unfortunately, it's a huge weakness of mine. It's just one of those things, especially with traveling as well. We just have very little routine in our lives. So it's very difficult. But this comes back to that knowing yourself. Yeah. Know yourself, be completely self-aware. And if you are somebody who is not consistent, you have to plan ahead. So for instance, what I'm doing to be consistent next year is I'm going to batch record my videos. I'm going to batch record them, so I do say 10 or 15 at a time, and then we can get them in the blog, set them up, and then schedule them so they consistently come out once a week, every single week. If you know that this is a weakness of yours, you have to plan that. You have to recognize that. You have to plan that, and you have to find a way to look consistent, even if you yourself are not very consistent. But if you don't use another word this year, use that one. Because if you consistently publish a blog post once a week, if you consistently publish a podcast every single Tuesday, if you consistently publish a video, if you consistently work on your business every single day, if you consistently list build every single day, if you consistently do anything, if you consistently watch your calories every single day and make sure you don't go over that, you're going to lose weight. If you consistently go to the gym every single day, you're going to get strong and fit. If you consistently learn how to speak Spanish an hour a day, you're going to be speaking fluent Spanish within 6 months. Do you see what I mean? The power of consistency is so huge. So this has been a big word for us this year, and it, without a shadow of a doubt, has led to our biggest financial year yet: consistency. However, consistency isn't just it, because you've also got to open your mind. Seriously, open your mind and believe in the unbelievable. If somebody had said to me a year ago, Joe, in a year's time, you're going to have done $1 million worth of sales in less than 12 months with a silly little kitchen product, I would have said, yeah, right. Okay, yeah, no worries. Sure we will. This business model, this whole thing of leveraging something that's already out there, yeah, that has pushed my belief systems, beyond belief. I have to keep having this discussion with some of our students who are in exactly the same boat. We get on Skype and they're like, I just can't believe it. I just don't believe it. It's too good to be true. And you know how sometimes, things that are too good to be true are simply too good to be true? Well, sometimes they're not. Sometimes you just have to believe that there are some things out there that are true, and they're great, and they're unbelievable, and they're probably not going to last forever, and it's probably short-lived, because things that are that good tend not to last forever. But they're out there, and you're doing it, and you're in the moment, and you're grabbing it with both hands, and you just have to open your mind and believe in the unbelievable. I mean, why not? Who wants to be constrained by society anyway? Who wants to be constrained by all the doubters? Who wants to be constrained by all the cynics? It's exhausting, isn't it? It's exhausting being cynical all the time. It's exhausting being, oh, that's not going to work, or oh no, that can't happen, or oh no. It's exhausting. Just believe. Just believe. There must be a song about that, mustn't there? Just believe. You have to open your mind, yeah? And you have to be willing sometimes to just take that risk. And sometimes that risk might simply be believing in yourself. Sometimes that risk might simply be just saying, you know what, I'm going to take this action. Sometimes when you believe in the unbelievable, it might not be that there's a financial risk or anything like that. It might simply be you saying, do you know what, I'm going to believe that this is going to work even when everybody around me is telling me it's not going to. I am still going to move ahead and do it anyway. So I urge you, as you move into 2016, to... Do you know, Tony Robbins, I'm going back to Big Tone again, he talks about eliminating your limiting beliefs. if you get time over the Christmas period, I would urge you to sit down and start asking yourself, what are the limiting beliefs? What are the beliefs that you think you hold that stop you from doing things, that hold you back? What are the stories you tell yourself in your head that hold you back? A little clue is they'll normally start with, I can't do that because, or it's not possible because. Yeah. And just write down all the things that you think hold you back from moving forward. And then have a look at all those things and try and replace those with mind opening beliefs. Yeah. Try and replace them and ask yourself, here's a good question. I can't do that because is a limiting belief. Then say to yourself, but if I could do that, this is what I would do. Yeah, if I could do that, this would be the result. Or if I could do that, this is what I would believe, So replace it with, but if I could, what if I could? Yeah, but you can't. Yeah, but what if you could? No, but I can't. Yeah, but what if you could? I can't. But what if you could? Get it? That kind of thing. Yep. All right. Now, the thing is, though, okay, that nothing is going to happen. It doesn't matter if you believe. It doesn't matter if you want to move out of your comfort zone in your mind. It doesn't matter if you consistently think about stuff. It doesn't matter if you really know yourself and you're really self-aware. It doesn't matter if you're believing in the unbelievable. It doesn't matter if you're thinking about leveraging. It doesn't matter if you're not worried about anything. But the simple fact is nothing is going to happen unless you make it happen. You can think, but nothing is going to happen unless you actually take action. If you're not out there building a list, if you're not out there creating your website, if you're not out there working out at the gym, if you're not out there packing up your smoking, if you're not out there, I don't know, whatever it is that you want to achieve in your life, it is not going to happen just by thinking about it. You have got to take action. The only difference between people who are out there being successful in whatever way success means to them and you're not is that they're doing it. That's it. And they're not stopping. They're not stopping until they do it. That's another thing. I had a student the other day say, look, you know what? I'm full of self-doubt right now. I don't think I can do it. I've tried everything. I've done multi-level marketing. I've done network marketing. I've done IM. I'm now doing this. I'm not sure it's for me. It's not working as fast as I want it to, blah, blah, blah. I've tried everything. And when you go back and you say, well, actually, hold on a second. You haven't tried everything because it works. Okay. And I've been there. I'm not a rags to riches person by any stretch of the imagination, guys, but I have been there with my back against the wall. I was there with my newborn little girl with a brand new business and a mortgage and, not knowing where to turn and how I was going to pay my next mortgage payment and working all the hours that God sent because I needed to get contracts done. Otherwise I wouldn't get paid, blah, 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 back against the wall, desperation, and I worked my bottom off to make my business work. I worked my absolute what's-the-name to make my business work, and I sacrificed so much, and then after 5 years that failed, boom, lost everything, had to start all over again, started again, back against the wall, not a lot of money, keep going, taking action. Yeah, so the fact of the matter is I'm not where I am today through luck. It hasn't just happened. It's taken 20 years to be an overnight success. Do you know what I mean? It's taken years of hard work and action. That's it. All those times where you stop and you think, I can't do this, and then you think, I'm just going to have to. I really don't have a lot of choice. If I want to eat, if I want to pay my mortgage, I'm just going to have to do it. So whatever you do, you must take action. We all know what we need to do, really, don't we? I mean, the information is around us everywhere. Everything we need to do, it's all around us. We have it. It's on Google, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's everywhere we need it. We just need to actually do it. However, there's going to be times when you're out there and you're doing this and you're taking action and your head's butting against the wall and things aren't going as well as they could be going and all that kind of stuff, and there's going to be those times. And I've pulled in a slide from last year because it's such a powerful slide. When you are feeling those moments, you need to stop and you need to look around you. And this is a bit spiritual. For those of you who are spiritual, you'll appreciate this. For those of you who are a bit more practical, you might be thinking, oh, but this is so unbelievably powerful. You need to just be grateful. Seriously, you need to be grateful. That's my daughter on that slide, actually, and that beach is where we live. And it's not happiness that brings us gratitude. It's gratitude that brings us happiness. And from somebody who got themselves into a bit of a funk, and by a funk, I mean a bit down, a bit low, things not going quite right, blah, blah. Believe me, I know what gratitude does. And it does. It does bring happiness, because you just have to look around you and think, what is good about my life right now? And even if you think there is nothing good about it, if you're breathing, if you're alive, if there is a sky above your head, if there's water in your faucet, if you lose a leg and you have the other one, be grateful for the one you've got, is what I'm saying. I know that sounds a bit mad, but literally find anything and everything to be grateful for. I don't know. There was a film many years ago in black and white. There was a remake a few years ago, I think, in colour, but the original, I believe, was in black and white. Can't remember now. Called Pollyanna. I don't know if you remember it, but it was about this little girl, bless her, who used to go around to people's houses and stuff and deliver deliveries and food and stuff. And anybody who was down and miserable and had something to complain about in life, she'd sit with them and she'd play a game, and she'd say to them, "But what's great about it? What's great about what's happening in your life right now? What are the good things that you can find?" And she made this whole village, kind of light up with life. And then I think she broke her legs, and I can't exactly remember what happened at the end of the movie. But the whole point was, sorry, that was a really bad story, wasn't it? Don't really remember what happened. But anyway, the whole point is that she used to go around and she used to make people be grateful. But what's great? I know you're not feeling good, but what's great? What's great about that right now? What's great about your life right now? And I urge you, every time you are feeling really crappy and things have gone wrong, just sit down and say to yourself, okay, but what's great about this? What's great about this learning? What's great about this situation? Or if there's nothing great about that particular situation, what's great about the stuff that's happening around me right now? What can I be grateful for? And I've just started reading a book called Viktor Frankl, The Meaning of Life. I haven't got anywhere, so I can't tell you anything, but it's all about a guy who was in the concentration camps in World War II. And it's all about his experience, about the people who lived and the people who didn't, and the attitudes of the people who survived. And the attitudes of the people who survived were based on what could they find about the situation that they were in that was positive. Yeah, and it was that positivity, it was that kind of gratefulness of just being alive that kept them alive. Yeah, while so many people lost hope. So that's an interesting book, Viktor Frankl, The Meaning of Life. I haven't read it yet, but I will report back on a blog post or something when I've read it. So lastly, the very last one, which is an important one, and it's one that I still haven't accomplished, and I have found it's held me back this year. And as I'm getting older, I know I'm only 43, but as I'm getting older, I'm finding it's holding me back more and more as I'm getting older. And that is that, I've tended to put my business and the hours that I work and things like that before my health. And my goal for next year, for 2016, my top priority is my health. It's coming above anything else. I am determined next year to finally shift all these extra pounds that sitting behind a computer seems to have put on. Hence why I was in a kayak. Yeah, I'm starting to do a bit of exercise, get out there and have some fun with it. That's what I want to do. I can't, going to the gym and working out doesn't come naturally to me, so I need to be somebody who has some fun with it. So I love playing tennis, is something I really enjoy doing, kayaking and swimming, things I really enjoy doing. So next year for me, it really is, but for all of us, we really ought to make sure that our health is top priority, really above and beyond anything else. Why? Because if we're not healthy, we can't enjoy the business that we've created. If we're not healthy, we can't enjoy our family. You may think, well, I'm going to put my family first, but if you're not healthy, you can't enjoy your family, nor can your family enjoy you. So really, it's a lesson for all of us, I think, that we need to put our health before anything else. Before anything else that comes. So otherwise everything else will suffer. So that is my goal for 2016. That's my top goal for 2016, is to absolutely be as super healthy as possible. And then my work, my business, our relationships, our children, everything else will stem from that. We'll have more energy to be able to do things, to be more productive, and just more energy to enjoy life, which is what it's all about, enjoying life. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. They are my 15 lessons learnt that I'm taking into 2016 next year. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you happy holidays, I should say, really. Not everybody celebrates Christmas, but Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and happy holidays to those of you who perhaps don't celebrate Christmas. I'm just going to come out here now and see if you're all still with me, or whether I lost you all through the through it all. And I'm also happy, if you want to just do sort of 10 minutes or so, if anybody's got out any questions, or anything that they want to add, or tell me, anything that they've learned, or any feedback or anything, then that would be, oh, Neil, I love that, from GI Jane. I never saw a wild thing sorry for itself. A small bird will drop frozen dead from a bough, never having felt sorry for itself. D.H. Lawrence, also the commander chief or whatever in GI Jane. uh, so let me have a quick look through your comments, ladies and gentlemen. What do we want? What do we want? Let me have a look. Okay, I'm not going to answer specific questions about the courses I'm doing at the moment, but okay, I'm just looking. Great book by Dale Carnegie. Absolutely, yes. Oh, good. Jupiter Jim is just saying we call it getting into a funk here. I will share these slides. Happy to share these slides, guys. No problems at all. Yep. I'm just having a look. Yeah, absolutely, Robin. I know. How can one work 19 hours a day every day? Not interested in doing that. I know. When I was younger, I had the energy. I don't so much have the energy these days, I have to be honest. David's just asking, what is white labeling products? Very good. Yes, very good question, actually, David. White labeling a product basically means that if you actually Google, white label, the word white label, and it could be software or something that you're selling, and it just basically means that somebody else has created a product. Yeah, so somebody else has maybe built some software or something like that, okay? And then they're offering an opportunity for you to be able to pay them a fee for you to essentially take that product and brand it with your own branding. Okay, that's what white labeling means. So somebody else has done all the hard work in actually creating it, and you can actually brand it yourself. Okay. Consistency matters most. Sounds like the Force would be with you. Yes, absolutely. I do like a bit of Star Wars, I have to say. Yes, man's search for meaning. Thank you, Jay. Man's search for meaning. Viktor Frankl. That's what I would say. Yep. Karen, Jason's actually a good friend of mine. Yes, and he does keep talking to me about juicing. He's starting a juice challenge, is he? Yeah. Okay, I will have a look at it. Yeah, I do like my food, I have to be honest with you. And every time I see it, Jason, he does say, watch my videos. Anyway, good. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, lovely, very inspiring, good, wonderful. Just having a quick look through your comments, guys, just seeing if there's any questions that you want. Thank you very much for your feedback. That's great. Good. I have some nuggets in there. That's good. Graham, thank you. He's so impressed with your journey this year, Joe. That last slide should be printed out on your wall so you can imagine that's you and Rhett running down the beach. I know. I should. That is absolute. That's me. Actually, it looks more like you and Lauren. That, I think. Yeah, we are focusing this year in 2016. Two things we're focusing on. First of all, we're focusing on running the Amazon business, growing our Amazon business. So we're not doing any courses this year, and in training courses on that. And with Joe Barnes Online, because my goals in the future really are surrounding having a big community of people to do with all the things I want to do over the next few years. It's really about growing that profile. So, videos, blog posts, podcasts, that kind of stuff. Oh, Lauren. Sorry, it's Lauren. I will be sending this out, Miles. Yes, I'll be sending out a replay. So that's for Tim. Fantastic. That's awesome. Tim's just saying, I doubted your Amazon training in February, went with it in October, completely followed the training, have product, have sales, I believe. The names of the books I've mentioned, Darshan, are Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. Is it Man's Search for Meaning? I'm just having a look now. Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. And also Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Kurt, yes, revisiting the goals is a really important part, okay? Revisiting your goals as the year progresses, very, very important. Please do that, because we set them at the beginning of the year and then we just forget about it. So do make sure you set up a review system as well. Monica's feeling full of energy. Agnes, go for it. Woohoo! Awesome. Just having a quick look. Look forward to connecting in Cebu. Jem, sounds good to me. I might be in Thailand. Jumping in, says Debbie. Awesome. Very inspiring. I'm a bigger thinker than you, I think. I'm going to ban myself from doing it in my action-taking hours of the day. Yes, Debbie, you must ban thinking. Have action hours, have thinking hours. Have action hours, have thinking hours. Okay? Gail, as always, so inspiring. Seems crazy, but I just can't figure out my goals. I need to help figure out what they are. How do I do that? It sounds incredibly silly, but it's true. I've been so amazed I actually launched my online pastel painting. Incredible feeling. Okay, so Gail, on my blog is, oh gosh, what's on my blog? There is, I can't remember what it's called now. I'm going to have to actually open it, I think. Let me just go over here and go to Joe Barnes Online. On my blog, there is a post which talks about setting your goals for the next year. But I'm actually going to send out some goal setting sheets because I have some goal setting sheets which are pretty good. So I'll be sending those out as well. But it's not that one. It is the blog post I'm looking for. Excuse me, is this one. Create a crystal clear vision for you and your business. Okay, it is a just a little exercise that I will be doing. I've kind of almost done it actually, but I just want to go and refine it. That I'll be doing this year for next year. Okay, so you basically sit and you decide where you want to be this time next year. All right, so check that out. It's a really good little blog post, and it will just help you really start to figure that out. From Lauren. Oh, Lauren, you had your evening with Oprah. Had an evening with Oprah, and this quote of hers stood out for me. Each day we are blessed with a glorious opportunity. Excuse me, guys, I'm losing my voice. Each day we are blessed with a glorious opportunity to step into our authentic lives in a more fulfilling way. Absolutely. Each day we are blessed with a glorious opportunity to step into our authentic lives. Do you know, I love that, in a more fulfilling way. Be you. Oh, that is so powerful. Be you. You know, sometimes we doubt ourselves and we think we're not good enough, but we just have to get out there and be us, because we're all we've got. Okay, so just get out there and be the best you can be. That would be my advice. But be you. Absolutely. Jane's just asking which Tony Robbins books are my faves. Oh gosh, what isn't? They Awaken the Giant Within, awesome book. Is the other big one. But to be honest with you, Jane, I love Personal Power 2. If you go to Tony Robbins' site and look up Personal Power 2, it's a set of MP3s. It's a 30-day course. You listen to like 45 minutes a day. Oh, it's so empowering, so incredibly empowering. Okay. So Unlimited Power, that was it. Thank you, Jay. Unlimited Power, Awaken the Giant Within are two great books. But go and get Personal Power 2. Really, really good. Oh, actually, that's the other thing I was going to say. Something that's changed in our lives this year as well is we have now decided that we're going to be staying in Thailand. Very excited about that. We're now staying in Phuket. So super happy about that and that decision. Amazon training is not going to be available again, unfortunately, Dirk. No, that was my last one I did last time. Thank you, Gail. I look forward to you coming and seeing us in Phuket. Nice to hear people that are real. Absolutely. You know, David, that is so true. You know, being our authentic ourselves, authentic selves. I got the graphics from my presentation from 123rf.com. 123rf.com. Yeah, I went for a very specific theme this time around, all these lovely sort of action shots. So 123rf.com is where I get all my images. Really good site and not very expensive either. Good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Not yet, John. No, it's lots of snorkeling. Lots and lots of snorkeling. But I'm hoping to do my scuba diving course early in the new year. Get out to the Similan Islands and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so looking forward to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you so much for joining me. I do hope that you have enjoyed this session. It's just, you know, it's one of those kind of get inspiration, get going, and welcome in 2016 with a new and renewed energy and attitude. Lots of hugs, and thank you very much for coming. Have an amazing holiday. Have an amazing Christmas. I hope you all have an awesome time, and I look forward to seeing you in January. I'm sure I'll do a start 2016 with a bang session at some point, and all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much for joining me. Have an awesome holiday, and I'll see you in the new year. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.